Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, your one-stop shop for all your WWE, AEW, NXTs, recaps, reviews, pay-per-view predictions. Kyle here, and Vince as well to bring you our Raw recap, man. The return of Edge. Hey, did you know yesterday that Edge was returning?
I had some idea about it. WrestleVotes tweeted that he had signed a 3-year contract, so I had an idea of what his announcement was going to be.
But was
But
there
none
any
of,
indication during the show that Edge was going to return?
I
Did
mean,
they
I
indicate
don't
it
know.
at
I
all?
feel like I might have missed like the first 5 or 10 like return recaps. I've missed like the first 10. I caught the last one before he came out.
Man, I was like this. I was like, you know what? I'll watch up until Edge returns, and then I'm gonna turn it off. And they knew that was a lot of people's plans, so they saved that dude for the last 10 minutes of the show, which now in hindsight made perfect sense. But
Yeah. After
but
the first
damn.
hour, I kind of realized what they were doing because I think they did the same thing for Daniel Bryan when he returned on the SmackDown. He returned, so like they were like building him up throughout the entire show. But it was SmackDown, so it was 2 hours, so it wasn't as big of a wait. But they
Yeah,
knew what they were doing. I'm pretty sure their ratings went up with just that.
yeah, yeah. They'd be if you guys are live under a rock and hadn't seen yet. It was about every 5 to 10 minutes we were greeted with 1 to 2 Edge packages. Like they wouldn't just stick with one Edge promo. Sometimes they would do like when he won the 2010 Royal Rumble and then immediately follow it with his return at the 2020 Royal Rumble. And they just kept doing this throughout the whole night, all the way up to it, man. Get those viewers to stick around and, of course, tune in for the big return, which, man, that was awesome. If you guys didn't know it, we are a pro wrestling podcast. You can find us on Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Don't forget, we are on YouTube with a new format. You can actually now see us. All the presenters are now doing video streaming on the YouTube channel. So don't forget, hit like, subscribe, help us get to 100 subscribers. Vince, the latest poll on the Vince punishment is to have you watch Cats, the new movie
Wait,
Cats.
where's this poll? I can't see it. I haven't seen it.
So for you guys, we've been joking around, or it's been primarily just me bullying Vince here on the show, saying
Yeah.
that when we get 100 subscribers, we're gonna somehow punish you. And the latest
I mean,
idea.
I feel like I'm gonna get punished regardless because I think it was me and Kevin that lost predictions on Sunday. So
It's
we both might need to get punished somehow.
coming
And
one way or another.
Jay also still needs to pay off.
Yeah,
his
that's
one.
right. That's right. I'll get on Amazon. See, I had ordered it, but I forgot I changed my card, so my order got canceled, and I've just been dragging my feet on ordering the I don't know if I've put it on air yet. The Toe of Satan. Look this junk up on YouTube. It's apparently like the world's hottest lollipop, and it's I guess like it brings the heat of like some Carolina Reapers, and
Jesus.
the idea for Jay for what pay-per-view punishment was this?
I think it was TLC.
TLC is to have him essentially ingesting the toe of Satan while we grill him with some wrestle trivia, whether you're doing it live on scene or we're doing it how we're doing this.
I think we should do like a combination where like we'll do like a live stream on like Twitch or on our YouTube or something, and people can comment like wrestling trivia, or someone can monetize it. So someone can monetize it. I'll be like the producer. I'll be like the cameraman. Trust me. I'll do a better job than Kevin Dunn on the Royal Rumble. I won't wait till like reactions in the middle of what the action.
Damn,
No,
man.
I'll do a good job about it, and then you guys can spitball the trivia, or you guys can get the trivia questions out. Before Jay.
Yeah, that'd be
You know,
cool. Open the trivia up to the public.
Yeah, you could do something like that.
It'd have to be like 5-10 minutes long, depending on how tough Jay is. Which, by the way, congratulations to our boy Jay. He just won his very first championship. Let's see if I can pull this image up
It's
real fast.
I believe it's the PWX Tag Team Championship, a local indie promotion here in Chicago.
Yeah, here he is, right here on screen. Him and his tag team partner, man. They're known as God dang it, I forgot it's Extreme.
Extreme Thunder.
Extreme Thunder. Yeah, because his
That
team
would make
is-
sense. Yeah, because his name is Jay Thunder, so I would imagine it'd be in there.
No, man.
Unless we completely just butchered their name and then
Could have. Yeah, man. Yeah, look at these guys. Look at them, man. Look at these. Oh, man, some studs right here.
I can't physically see, but
just play
I
along.
got the image.
Play along.
I got the images in my head. I'm using my imagination to visualize them.
So yeah, we had first the picture of them in the hallway showing off their new titles. Then we got Jay over here cutting a promo shortly after they won. Oh man, I'm super happy for him. And then of course we have the finishing move. Jay's the world's greatest spear over here, dude.
Oh
Jay,
yeah,
be like getting hit by like a flying bus, man. Whew.
Yeah, that's why I try to stay on his good side. And whenever I do pick on him, I'm always like miles away from him.
One of the punishment videos is gonna be you taking a spear from Jay in a wrestling ring. It seems like the most logical. Whenever physical violence.
At one point, yes. That or actually just taking like a scoop slam or something.
Scoop slam. Take a couple bumps.
Maybe
he can give you the 5 moves of doom. Like he can channel his inner John Cena.
Oh Jesus! No man, that's a big man right there. I'm not trying to do nothing like that.
Listen, but hey, good segue. If you guys want to congratulate Jay, hop on over to Twitter. Congratulate the big man on his victory. He is at JThunder2009. You can also hit us up if you would like at Smackdraw Pod, myself at the Kai Tai Show, and then of course Vince is at SES Vince. Come hit us up, man. We also have a Discord. Don't forget to search for the Smackdraw Podcast Discord. Trying to build a good community over there so we can all talk wrestling together. Trying to get in on that Discord action, man.
Yeah, we had a couple good conversations during Worlds Collide and Royal Rumble, so it was actually a pretty fun experience. You were able to interact with not just like the people in the show, but a couple of fans of the show as well. So it's pretty cool.
A former guest host, Colin, he's in there, man, and he is always battling back and forth with Sebastian on their fantasy booking and what's working in wrestling and what's not working. I love watching those two guys. Man, they take wrestling serious. They really do. Yeah. But of course, yeah, hit us up. Man, I really genuinely, man, enjoy talking to all you guys.
I mean, I don't think it's just them. I feel like a lot of people take wrestling serious because I saw a lot of people upset about this closing angle on Raw. Like a lot of people were legitimately upset about it.
Before we get there, I want to give a shout out. If you guys hadn't noticed, not that we haven't mixed up our intros before, but we do have a new intro. We want to give a big shout out to @Abandoned Sarah. It's our good friend of the show, Sarah. She made that intro for us. She's a wrestling content creator. She likes to do video editing. Go ahead and check her out. And not to mention, if you are a creator yourself, she's even offered to commission custom video editing too. She's trying to get into break into the business. So make sure to hit her up for any of your video editing needs. Okay,
Definitely.
now we can get into the show. I'm sorry, man.
No,
I would forget otherwise. So
no, it's all good.
yeah,
You got to give our girl Sarah some love, man.
Yeah.
She's like an extended family of the Smack Rock crew, so we got to give her some love.
Yeah, and I forgot to. I meant to on Royal Rumble, but I forgot. So let's get into Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get into it. If you haven't seen the show, but if you've been online, you've probably seen the spoilers, man. We got the return of the Legend Killer, Randy Orton, man, viciously attacked Edge. Boy.
Did you see it coming? Or did it just take you... it took me a little bit by surprise because I felt like... Because, Edge came out and he had this very emotional speech and whatnot, and it felt very to the heart, just like Daniel Bryan. Then Edge and then Randy Orton came out. They were having a very genuine. That was a genuine conversation they were having.
He was sobbing on Randy Orton's shoulder there for a moment.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were milking that for the crowd or if that was genuine, but Edge was, he was damn near just sobbing, holding his buddy. Former colleague,
The thing with it is that I legitimately thought they were gonna go this route, but not so soon. I felt like at Saudi Arabia, they might do Rated RKO versus the club, the OC or whatever.
Gotcha.
I figured they might do something like that, milk the Rated RKO like nostalgia one time and then go into the feud they're going into. But overall, I kind of like the ending of the show. At one point, I'm over here like, is anybody gonna come out here and help this man?
Yeah,
Like,
dude, they're gonna miss a huge opportunity if Christian doesn't come out for Edge. And I thought about this even before the beatdown happened when when Randy Orton was talking. It was like, we've got like this huge chemistry. We're most known for our tag team and stuff. And I was like, Edge sort of grew up with his tag team partner. I was like,
exactly.
I was like, if you say, hey, what's the first tag team that comes to mind when you think of Edge? I would like to think it's Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
Rated RKO a close second, and then maybe in third place Edge and Hulk Hogan.
I don't think of them as a tag team. I think
man, they won the belts together. So
he was a tag team with like Rey Mysterio and Chris Benoit at one point. I don't know. Yeah. He was a random, like with Edge. It was Rated RKO, or it was like the Brood with Christian, or just Edge and Christian. That's all I think about with him. The only other time I think about him in the factions when he had La Familia with the Hawkins and Ryder, Chavo, Vicky, and all those people. But in terms of a tag team, yeah, you're right. It's Christian and Randy Orton. And just one quick thing is, I think we were robbed of a Christian Edge feud. I don't like in terms of both of them being at the top of the card as two top guys. I don't think we ever got that because we got them as a feud when they first initially split up, but
because Edge won King of the Ring, and I think Christian betrayed him out of jealousy.
Yeah, but that's when Christian had his long hair and he had like the weird like fishnet top, and he just kind of looked like Edge's little brother. It didn't really come into his own. It was different. It was different, and Edge wasn't like the rated R superstar that we know today and love. So it was a completely different thing. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, the rated R superstar that was spawned out of his affair with Lita, right? I believe it was.
Yes, it was. It was.
Yeah.
Hey man, you turn chicken shit into chicken salad, man. Like that's something. Hey, you turn a bad situation into a good one, man. And that's how we got the rated R superstar.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. This angle closed the show. People were just gasped and screaming. I can't remember the last time I heard people react so genuinely to a violent beatdown. Because you got to think about it. This is not the exact same crowd. Obviously, it's a different part of the country, I believe, but the same WWE audience that was cheering Brock Lesnar one more time when he was giving Seth Rollins the beating of his life, which was way more brutal and violent. And these people were reacting as if they legitimately were witnessing a murder.
To play devil's advocate here, like the reason why Edge left is because had he if he takes before he
took the one
wrong bump, he could be permanently paralyzed or die in the ring. One bad bump. So that's why with Edge, it's like, it's kind of like with Daniel Bryan when he first initially returned. You were like, you were squeamish, and then now you just don't think twice about him getting his ass whipped by the Fiend with a fucking strap, But it's gonna be one of those things where the reason why he retired, it was a legitimate reason, it was his neck and stuff, and it's just still so fresh. And he just came back, so you're still a little squeamish about it. So I kind of get that aspect of it.
Hand twitch. Oh man. Oh god, that was such a nice touch. And kudos to the production team to picking up on it after about a minute to zoom in and see that little finger twitch going on, just to add that just very disturbing nature of the beatdown.
Yeah.
Because Randy Orton teased the reuniting of Rated RKO. And just as the crowd ate it up, he actually delivered an RKO. Crowd's losing their stuff. He takes a chair to Edge's back, and the crowd react as if Edge died. I've seen, and it's the same chair shot to a back. You know what I mean? That we see on weekly television. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's self-explanatory. Man came back after 8 years of that injury. But the crowd added so much to that. And then Randy Orton teased he guillotining Edge's neck in the chair and
Oh
jumping
man,
off the
that's
top
that's the
rope.
part that's the part where I was squeamish, and I'm like, please don't fucking do it,
I
don't
was
do it, don't
convinced
do
that
it.
like Christian would run down. I was like, okay, any point Christian's gonna run down, save his friend. And no, Randy Orton thought like cooler's head will prevail. Randy Orton didn't do it, but then
I don't know, man.
ultimately,
I figured like someone was gonna stop and do it. Like
yeah,
stop.
Edge has no friends in the back. Like nobody, nobody in the back missed Edge apparently. Like, oh my God, no! He ended up receiving the one man concerto. For you younger viewers, don't know what I mean. It's where you sandwich the dude's head in between two chairs. Normally, it was done by Edge and Christian. They would simultaneously like with the dude's head in the middle between two chairs. But
Right.
once Christian was out the picture, you rest your opponent's head on top of a chair and then just wallop it. And boy, it was nasty, man. It was nasty.
I was talking with Sebastian on our like the channel group chat, and both he and I agreed that the reason why this was done is because he's going to be on a Brock Lesnar-esque schedule. He's going to be on more often than Brock Lesnar, but he's part time. So this was a way to write him off up until like a couple weeks before WrestleMania. He's gonna return. He's gonna get a even bigger pop. You like imagine that Edge, the pop that he got as a baby face on Sunday. Now you're gonna double or triple that when he finally returns and he kicks the crap out of Randy Orton and sets up that WrestleMania match. But yeah, this is kind of cool. I like it. It was smart booking, and you've just now created like the biggest heel in all of wrestling in Randy Orton. And sadistic, like crazy Randy Orton is best Randy Orton to me.
I need to pull up a soundbite because I look stupid as hell. I think it was literally on Royal Rumble or SmackDown, one of the most recent episodes. I just said that Randy Orton could never be a true heel again because of his legacy pop. I literally just got done saying that. Like, this man cannot get genuine boos anymore because
Right.
people respect his work. I was comparing him to The Miz, so I think it was SmackDown. I'm gonna have to try and pull that soundbite up.
Bro, well, I don't know if it was SmackDown. Were you like making the comparison with Miz, and that's why he came up?
Yeah, because I think I remember it now. Is I said that kudos to Miz because he's actually getting boos, and I said people actually have a hard time booing the Miz, and then I transitioned into an example of Randy Orton, where these guys can be bad guys, but people are still going to cheer them because they respect them for their long careers and the work they've done. And then here I am less than a week later eating my damn words because Randy Orton probably just became the biggest heel in the company.
Right.
So,
Like MJF who? Baron Corbin
Yeah,
who?
yeah,
Randy,
man.
they got nothing on Randy Orton, man.
oh no.
It's great. I can't wait to see it. I'm curious as to what Randy Orton's going to be doing in the meantime while he waits for the Edge feud to kick off during WrestleMania weekend. So we'll see. Maybe he gets into a situation where he's going to challenge for
He's
like
gonna
the
run.
title. Or...
No, I think he's gonna run the gauntlet of Edge's associates. Like, I bet you Christian will pop up next week, get RKO'd, won't even probably have a match. Then Edge's old friends, Rey Mysterio, will stand up for Edge, get beat up. Like, I think that's what they'll do is week for week,
Okay.
people will stand up for Edge. It'd be like, dude, that was jacked up. And then Randy Orton beats them down.
Oh, you know what they do? They're gonna do a handicap match next week against Kurt Hawkinson and Zack Ryder because they were used to be the edge
Edgeheads.
heads.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what they're gonna do next week. He's gonna be like, "Hey, man, that wasn't cool," and they're gonna try to defend his honor. Or it's gonna be very similar to what Drew McIntyre did to the OC on Mondays, just a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Right. Speaking of which, we'll get into that. Drew opened the show. Drew's going from the biggest heel in the company to probably the biggest baby face in the
Oh
company.
yeah, he's really okay. So I think I remember last week that I was telling you that I wasn't really feeling Drew McIntyre, and I wasn't really into his promo last week after he got RKO, and he was like, I wasn't really into it. I've always been a big Drew McIntyre guy, but I felt like when he got called up to Raw, they weren't really doing anything with him, and I kind of lost investment in the guy. But his Royal Rumble performance and his performance last night on Raw really showcases that this guy can be a top guy in your company. Like
Oh.
I got like Batista vibes off of him. Like it's a big, like strong guy that can out there and just do the media and also get over with the crowd, and it's believable that he can beat up a Brock Lesnar, but also it's believable enough that he can go toe to toe with like a, I don't know, like an AJ Styles and lose to a smaller guy. So that's how you get the title off of Brock and get into someone smaller if you want to down the line. And I don't know. I think Drew has it all right now. He's pretty solid on the mic. He's got a great look. His finisher is amazing, and he has a brand new thing with the crowd where he counts 1, 2, 3.
I hate
Claymore.
that. I hate it. the Dudley Boys were doing that too. But before they finally called it quits in their last run, it's the face thing, and it's the only reason I hate it is because it's not organic. That is something directed from backstage. Was like, okay, you're a face now. We got to get the fan interaction up. Count yourself down for your finisher. The Dudley Boys did the same thing on their final run with WWE. They would do the get the table spot, where Bubba Ray would do like Devon, and then he yelled at the crowd, he's like, everybody, 1, 2, 3, get the tables. And it's like, dude, you don't have to
choreograph it.
Yeah, we know what's coming, man.
And you're right with that, because as soon as the burn it down became a thing, like Seth Rollins started doing the HBK stomp thingy, but it's like burn it down. Yeah. And I get it. It's dude, it's a WWE trope. It's not gonna change.
They want the faces to have something that the crowd can like almost add to the match. They want the crowd to add to the match like a certain thing. And I mean, I get it, but it's like I said, I think it's cheesy, but honestly, it's a very small gripe. It's not, I don't think it's doing Drew any harm.
I will say this. If this was a Drew thought, like if Drew decided he just wanted to do it, and it was just like in the spur of the moment, he just decided, I'm going to do it 1, 2, and then we're doing it, then that's fine. But if it's the direction from creative, it's like, let the guys do their own thing. If I'd rather have a guy go out there, try something out, let it flops, but it's him. It's genuine to the guy. Because it fits more.
And not to mention Drew is another case of organically getting over with the crowd. And from what I gather, the WrestleMania plans was a last second change. Drew and Charlotte both were late changes to be the winners, and from what I heard, it was actually a lot of boys in the back who were pushing Drew. So it's definitely not like a like pre-planned thing. It's just like something that the crowd was responding to, and the guys in the back were recognizing. And
so from what I read, like the Charlotte one, I don't know if she wasn't planning to win the Rumble regardless. It was going to be Sasha,
Baszler.
I think.
Baszler.
I heard it was going to be Sasha that was going to win it instead of Bayley versus Sasha, because they're still doing Baszler versus Becky, from all reports. They're still going to do it, but for whatever reason they decided, we're going to do Charlotte. And from what I'm hearing, like we'll talk about it later, but I'm hearing she's going a completely different route. She's going like off the board, off the grid with it. And with Drew McIntyre, like it was supposed to be Roman to win the Rumble, and I think Roman's still going to go into that title feud with the Fiend. But I think what it was with Drew is like, I feel like his rise was slowly getting up there, and then they decided to pull the trigger on him now, like you were saying. I feel like he would have gotten into that title picture regardless.
Oh, yeah, no, I believe all the title pictures were the same. I don't think that was last second, like, matchup replacements. I think it was just the actual winners of the Rumble were changes. I think if Baszler won, she was going after Becky. I think if Roman won, he was still going after the Fiend, and Drew was probably still going after Brock. You know what I mean? It's just they just changed the winners themselves, and which, like I said, I think Drew was the perfect choice this year. I called it. You guys said I was silly for saying Drew's going to be holding that championship by the end of the year. Looks like it's going to be a lot sooner than the end of the year now.
And here's the thing: like we were on the show, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be Drew," and then like I swear I saw a report like the next hour saying right now the winners are Charlotte and Drew McIntyre. Those are the penciled winners of right now, but that could change. Like legit.
See it, man.
Whatever. You just start buying me some scratch offs then, or like start giving me my lotto numbers so I can go ahead and get some Mania tickets so I can see these matches. But this match was pretty much nothing of a match. You just kind of make like the chumps like quick work out of the OC, and then after the match, Brock Lesnar 3 or 4 weeks in a row now on Monday Night Raw made an appearance in F5 Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, the match was set up though. You got to remember, Drew was out there to announce that he was facing Brock. That was the whole reason he was in the ring. He announced he was facing Brock Lesnar, and then but said he pretty much declared an open challenge, which the OC responded, which you just alluded to. Yeah, and defeated Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, but then ultimately was F5 by reoccurring Brock Lesnar. Man's earning his paychecks. About time.
Hey, about to say. So this is how I always felt like they should have done with Brock. It's like instead of doing like every like couple months he just shows up randomly and doesn't do anything. I'd rather have Brock. You save those like I guess there's like a set number of Brock appearances. You set aside like a certain amount of appearances towards the end, like to build up Rumble and build up Mania, and then you like let him become a ghost throughout like 4 to 5 months, and that's how you do Brock. That's how you book Brock Lesnar
without
like,
the belt. Without
the belt. Yeah,
let him,
obviously with
yeah. I don't care, man. You can miss a year. I don't want Brock off my TV. It's just I don't want him to have that belt, man. I want to see that belt.
The thing with Brock, and I noticed I was so against it. Here's the thing: when I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong because I was wrong about Brock Lesnar being in the Rumble because I thought it was a great thing because he was invested in the Rumble. When you get a motivated and invested Brock Lesnar, you get like the best content. Like when he was Money in the Bank and he was coming out in the beatbox, hilarious. When he was out there dancing to MVP's music, I thought it was great. When he saw Keith Lee, it's like, whoa, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
Who is this motherfucker? Like that's great. That's amazing content.
When he's showing his personality, because Brock does like, it's weird because even I'm learning it. Like Brock does have a nice personality, man. It's just like you get those glimpses where he lets his guard down a little bit and isn't ultra serious, and then it's just the best. But
it's because people forget his initial run where he's out there dancing with the sombrero with the mariachi against Eddie Guerrero, or he's out there making out with Kurt Angle. Like people forget about him
throwing
just being
a one-legged Zach Gallen down a flight.
Oh man, I am going to hell for. I'm going to hell for enjoying that.
Well, apparently Zach Gallen turned out to be like a real POS. From what a report I read not too long ago, a couple months ago. Apparently Zach Gallen ended up getting real full of himself from that run. But anyways, before I talk trash about someone I probably spent 2 minutes researching, Rey Mysterio. Let me back up a second there. One of the people that Brock was having fun with was MVP, which a lot of people thought was a one-off, but it looks like we're going to get a couple matches out of the guy because he had a match against Rey Mysterio.
I'm going to just say right now, man, like I love to see MVP. I thought it was kind of cool, but
what was his appeal,
match was rough.
Man? What was his appeal? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get him. I wasn't watching wrestling, I think, while he was doing, like, his U.S. championship run or whatever. So, anytime I saw him on TV, I just was like, I was off-put, man. Like, early Baron Corbin vibes. As far as just not wanting to see him. So, like, he seems like a genuinely cool guy, and the crowd's into him. But I just never saw it. So what was his appeal?
So initially, he just like randomly started showing up on SmackDown when he was going through his run. Like he was like this. They touted him as like this big free agent acquisition, the most highest paid wrestler in SmackDown history. He was like a baller. He had a bunch of money. He was a very important person, hence the name MVP.
Yeah,
like he had this big balloon, like inflatable balloon entrance. They were making them feel like he was this big deal, and he was doing a lot of like phrases, you know, that was like very popular back in the day. You know, the whole ballin' was a big thing. You know, he was out there with the headband. You know, he was connecting with a lot of people, and like he was coming around a time where you weren't seeing too many like black athletes in wrestling. Obviously, you had Booker T, Bobby Lashley, but you know, you're grasping like you can count them in the palm of your hand how many black.
So was his thing he was supposed to appeal like a crossover athlete? Where Booker T was like an athletic black guy. He Was he supposed to strike you as like not necessarily like so on the nose a basketball or football player, but like the guy had the athleticism to thrive in an actual professional sport?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was
So
that
it was basically that he was kind of playing off the character, like kind of like you see big NFL players or NBA players, like outside the party guy, like the big, very important person. That's all it was. That was
Okay.
the big appeal to it. And obviously, I can't really speak to it too much. You know, you have to talk to someone like a Jay or an RN to like really get their take on
Or
it.
Seb, because you know Seb's a professional on everything, regardless of sensitivity.
Regardless of yeah. Our co-host from Kentucky is very so it's a very good expert on
He's
this
a genuinely good guy, but yeah, that dude. I'll say one thing: he's super honest, and not like that means you're gonna find him to put his foot in his mouth, but where some people feel uncomfortable because they're like, okay. I'm not black, so I'm not going to talk about black relations. Seb will just be like, I get it, man, and he'll just go in, man, and I love it, dude. Oh
yeah,
man,
he's got some cojones, man.
yeah, he does.
Hey,
Boy,
but
I'll tell you
overall,
what.
like going back to this match, I thought it was kind of cool to see MVP last night. He came out today, and it felt like he had lost a step. Granted, I haven't kept up with him too much outside of WWE.
The 619 spot.
That was okay. Can we forget the match?
Was that planned or was that a botch? I cannot tell. I cannot. It seems like a botch at first, but then it still played into the finish. But that could be guys just being professionals, and the ref probably got in his ear, was like, "Dude, stay down. You're getting splashed right now." Like.
Maybe I think what happened.
It had to be
that
a
was the
botch.
finish. It had to be a botch because it felt like he was waiting for the 619 and it didn't came. So it's like, oh, am I supposed to duck it or whatever? And as he turned around, it was when Ray hit him in the back or something, and then it was splashed to the back, and it just made no sense.
And how he fell wasn't lined up traditionally to Ray because he was lined vertical, so Ray had to pull like his best RVD and like rotate in midair. And I mean, I loved the finish. I'm not going to lie. In hindsight, I loved it because it was sloppy, but it worked. You know, like, but yeah, it.
I'm going to give the match an A for effort.
Yeah.
But I did not like the match. I love MVP. I loved him back in the day. I thought he was kind of cool. I think his personality is great. I think he's amazing. But it felt like he was gassed. I felt like after the first like couple minutes, he was already gassed and like he was out of it. At one point, I think he hit Ray legitimately, and he was kind of rocked, and he was still trying to go on Ray, and then the ref telling him like, "No, give him a couple minutes. He's not okay. You legit rocked this man."
Oh my god!
I don't know if this was like a one-off match and that's it. We're not seeing MVP anymore, or if like he wanted to do a final retirement match from WWE, and he chose Rey Mysterio, or because commentary said that his child's favorite wrestler is Rey Mysterio, so maybe he's like, oh, I want my final match in WWE. Can I get a match against Rey Mysterio? And that was his final match, so he went on his back. Well, on his stomach in this case, and then, or maybe I don't know. I saw people saying maybe like Ray was requesting an MVP match after he returned or something, like as part of his Rey Mysterio's current farewell tour. I don't know. I don't know why we saw MVP. I'm not mad about it. I thought the match was sloppy, but it didn't hurt the product.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. I pulled it up. I wonder if I can do this really quick. I bet I can. No, you could have kept talking. I'm trying to actually pull up the GIF really quick.
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what you were doing, but yeah, I mean that's all I have to add to that match. It's like it was cool to see MVP back. I mean, maybe it was just a one-time thing, you know, like rust or whatever. He just hasn't been in the ring, or maybe it just wasn't working out. Sometimes you can have two great competitors in the ring and it just doesn't click for whatever reason that night. Like hence, look at AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania 34. And it was supposed to be like an amazing match, and it didn't live up to the hype. It just didn't. It didn't work.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, Yeah, I mean, he did come across rusty. I'm trying to sugarcoat it a little bit, but I mean, he did.
I mean, come on. If anything, we have to be honest. We have to.
We're
say
journalists here, man. You
Hey
know?
man, if you're gonna sit here and trash Ricochet and call him dumpster fire, I want you to be honest about MVP. Let's keep that straight. If you're gonna sit here and talk about a great athlete and Ricochet, just want to just shit on him, just to shit on him, you got to be honest about MVP. You can't sugarcoat MVP, but out here like go out of your way to like badmouth Ricochet. That's the thing. It's like here's the thing. I love me MVP, and I watched and I grew up with MVP. He's one of my ruthless aggression guys. When that TikTok started playing, I fucking went back to fucking 13 or 15 or however old I was when he debuted. But man, I saw him. I was like, man, this match is not it. This match ain't it.
This ain't it, dude.
This just ain't it.
Oh my god! I just tried to pull it up and put it on the screen. That's really sloppy. I apologize, guys on YouTube for that. I'll clean up how I display Twitter. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But that's for something later. I got a clip of it, but it had like that mirror effect because it was just like picture in picture in picture in picture. But it's still
okay. Yeah.
So we got to see MVP botch it like 250 times.
Jesus, what is this botchamania when it has like the picture in picture with like the outside stuff?
Oh, dude. It makes that look prestige like, as far as production. Something else that looked prestige was probably not Samoa Joe's performance in the Raw Tag Team Championship match.
Jeez. From what I heard, it's a legitimate injury.
He got dumped on his head. I went back and watched it again. Yeah, no, he ain't messing around. He got dumped on his head. So the way the match was set about was Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe were challenging Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Mm-hmm. Before the match begins, I like that Joe and Kevin Owens are being billed as smart, not dumb. They've seen pro wrestling a couple times. Yeah. And so they laid a trap for AOP because Seth and Buddy are out in the ring. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe come out skeptical on the mic. Like, look, man, AOP's hiding under the ring or something. You're going to have him jump us. So Seth shows AOP in Seth's dressing room. Once Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe were able to determine it wasn't a ruse, they had AOP get jumped by the Viking Raiders because they were laying in wait listening to Seth Rollins rat out where his buddies were. So it was very intelligent. Match happened, which was a decent match. But there was the injury. Samoa Joe did a suicide dive, and if you watch, he came down not like he didn't like pile drive himself. He still came down flat, but it was still like he DDT'd himself from the second rope all the way to the floor. He instantly clutches the back of his head, which also is another indicator he wasn't selling. Because if he was selling, he probably would have grabbed his face. But the fact that he grabbed the back of his head meant like he got his bell rung. They cut to commercial. They come back, and it's now a handicap match. Kevin Owens was hauled off to the back, and all reports are indicating that it is a legitimate injury. There's no report on if he suffered a concussion or not, but they believed it was severe enough, obviously, to pull him from the match. And we'll have to see what happens. If this is true and he is injured, this makes his fourth or fifth injury since signing with the WWE, and not to mention he just came back in September or October from a broken thumb. So the man's having a rough go of it health-wise in the WWE. Wish him the best because he's amazing. I will say one thing though, whenever he does call it a day on his in-ring career, that dude needs to be on commentary.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
He reminds me of kind of like how Taz was initially. Yeah. Here's the thing: Taz got added to AEW, and I think he's really good on AEW. I think he's one of the better guys on AEW. And Samoa Joe, best commentator on Raw, and he was just a regular active wrestler. That brings up the question to me. I just thought about it right now. I know we had these conversations before. Why don't they push Samoa Joe? Why isn't he never the top guy? He should be like the Universal Champion or WWE Champion. Maybe this is the reason why. Maybe he's just too injured too frequently, and they can't depend on him to hold the title and like be a top guy.
I don't know if I would. I mean, I think that now that's a scapegoat reason, but I think it had to do a lot with he's definitely more of like a TNA guy, and also his body type. Vince notoriously doesn't like big boys like that.
I don't know if it was that. I feel like
they made Cassius Ohno wear a shirt, making him wear a shirt. who was it that got in trouble for taking off their tank top? I think it was Corbin or someone. I remember like a year or two ago, guy not even that out of shape got in trouble for taking off his damn shirt because he's not in that well of shape, and Vince wanted him covered up.
I mean, look at Kevin Owens, and the guy is like has a bigger belly than Samoa Joe. I think with Samoa Joe before the injury issue, I think it was more of a case of wrong place, wrong time. Because when he was on Raw, they were doing the whole Samoa Joe stuff, Braun Strowman stuff. They were trying to push a certain wrestler as the top champion, and the cards just never lined up for him to be in that position to actually win the title, because it like he would challenge Brock, but there's plans for Roman to beat Brock, so he can't beat Brock, so he doesn't get the title. And unfortunately, that's where situations are. He's in a situation where he's facing Roman. He just got the title. They're not going to get the title off of Roman, so he's not going to beat Roman. I think it's just been more of a wrong place, wrong time with Samoa Joe, and I feel like hopefully down the line we do see a situation where he's at Universal or Heavyweight champion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge missed opportunity if we never see the belt on him. Kind of like with how Bray Wyatt was looked at. It was like they better get the belt on Bray at some point, which obviously now, it is on him. But for a while there, it looked like he just was never going to hold the top prize when he offers something very unique to the top guy. And I feel like that would be Samoa Joe. He definitely offers something very unique from a champion perspective.
I mean, you want to talk about unique from a champion's perspective that should be on the top spot. Aleister Black, man, if they don't get the title on that guy,
Aleister Black. I thought you
no,
Mojo.
No. Aleister Black. If they don't put the title on Aleister Black down the line, that's a big missed opportunity in my mind.
You know what's weird is the U.S. title wouldn't look good on him.
But the IC title would. The new
IC title would.
The new redesigned IC title would. But see, it's the whole like love like octopus thing they got going on, because he's married to Selena, but Selena is a manager to Andrade. But Andrade is engaged to Charlotte.
So you'd have to move all of them over to SmackDown. Or the belts have to swap places again. Which, don't put the U.S. title on SmackDown. Don't put the U.S. Let SmackDown keep its prestige. Let it keep Universal Championship with the Intercontinental. It's good to mix it, because you have the secondary heavyweight belt on SmackDown, but the primary secondary belt.
I don't know if Aleister Black is ever going to go to SmackDown. So that's the thing.
He strikes me as a SmackDown guy, though. He does.
But it has to do with that whole like foursome of like love that they got going on over there, and they can't really do it. But I like what they did with
Selena, Andrade, Charlotte. Anybody else would have to travel with them?
Nah, just
no, it'd be just.
But
them.
if they ever break up Selena Vega and Andrade, that's when you do it. You just now we have the green light to go ahead and do this. Like,
right, yeah,
go ahead and do it. But going back to like Aleister, like what they did with him last night, I thought was solid. He came in, just basically did a squash match. It was just a setup to like
his promo.
His promo, which I loved, and I've been saying this for a while. I think maybe you have as well. It's like, if you're Aleister Black, why are you waiting for people to pick a fight with you? Just go and pick a fight with someone.
And that's what he indicated, man. He put the locker room on notice. He hopped on the microphone. But you know what I picture? Because in my head, I can't help but not necessarily take the piss out of something, like talk down about it, but I have a hard time taking stuff seriously, and this shit made me envision some silly stuff with Black, because all I could picture him is just turning into a bully, just like walking into a locker room, eyeballing somebody, and then Black massing him, and then walking, because otherwise, what is it other than that? Walking into the locker room and saying like, "I challenge you to a fight," into a match. Like, no, for this to make sense, he just has to be walking around randomly Black massing people backstage. Like,
here's the thing. You mentioning that right now, for whatever reason, I pictured him with like a white glove, like Homer Simpson. It's like, I challenge you to it, dude. You have offended my honor. I challenge you to it.
I'm telling you. It's not going to make sense for him to go back and like, I'm laying out a challenge for you to fight me. Like, no.
But I felt the promo.
It's him at catering, like smacking a turkey leg out of someone dude's like fucking hand.
Stop it, because you're going to make me want to see that. Now I want next week. If next week he does his slap a turkey leg out, then I don't want to see it. But I will say this. the promo being delivered in the ring, like doing his like
was
cross
nice.
leg post, was way better and more effective than him just being in an empty black room and saying "pick a fight with me." You know, it worked better. I thought it worked better.
The
But
crowd
like
responded to him not blaming the Monday Night Messiah for his loss at Royal Rumble. He got an applause for that when he said, they took him out the match, but he said like it still falls on me, and he owned it. And then the crowd freaking started like clapping and cheering him, which was a nice touch because they could have easily turned on him. And thought it was lame, but it sounded like they showed him some respect, which was good. Good on you, Texas crowd. You responded so appropriately last night to all the shows, like the shows and ongoing and everything. So
right. So you were bringing up the U.S. title. It wouldn't look good on Aleister Black. It might not. We might need to find someone it does look good on because Andrade is going to be gone for a minute. He got ridden off the television.
Dead. Like that dude got killed last night. Holy hell! He took on Carrillo. Wait, hold on. Ready? Humberto Carrillo. All right, and that was terrible. That was horrible.
Humberto Carrillo is the name, but overall, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was kind of weird that they just did a random rematch for whatever reason, but
it's the classic case of the pay-per-view rematch, man.
Yeah, true. On top of that, it makes sense now, like after the reports came out that he actually violated the WWE's wellness policy for 30 days, so he's actually suspended.
Too much hanging out with Ric Flair, man. Ric Flair partying back there, bro.
Doing lines of cocaine with Ric Flair at Royal Rumble.
I'm telling you, man.
Oh, man. Hey, man, that's what you get when
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family, Andrade.
Did you see that like a lot of people, because they weren't happy and satisfied with the whole Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble, that they were like, oh, they need to check Charlotte, they need to suspend Charlotte too. She's probably, if Andrade got suspended, she's probably should get suspended too. Just like the Charlotte Flair hate is like so through the roof, it's hilarious. People
listen now. I know I say some silly stuff, a lot of it true, but I still But listen now. It's Charlotte Flair. She's always going to win a Rumble. At some point, you are Charlotte Flair. You're going to have one of the most prestige WWE in-ring careers that anybody, male or female, is ever going to have. She's, of course, going to win a Rumble. Let her have it in her prime. Do you think you're going to respond to it poorly now? Imagine giving it to her out of pity or out of just respect when she's already on the way out the door and it's just something to check off the list. Like, at least have it now while she's a believable competitor. You know, granted, timing doesn't line up and you're like, what story does this make sense for? I get all that. But, dude, the woman deserves it. The woman absolutely deserves a Royal Rumble victory. Yeah, they could have done it better and had a story role leading into it better. However you want to go ahead. But listen, it's not Vince McMahon winning the Rumble we're talking about here. Okay? It's not... Who else was a terrible winner? Didn't Sheamus win one? Yeah, Sheamus won a Rumble.
And here's the thing, that was a swerve because everybody's like, oh, Jericho's gonna win, and just to swerve it, they go ahead and put Sheamus.
Yeah,
they should just given it to Jericho. Jericho deserved it that year.
It's not and
here's the
Alberto El Patron winning the largest Royal Rumble that's not in Saudi Arabia.
I don't claim him, by the way. I'm putting that out there. I don't claim Alberto. I don't claim him as part of my Mexican fandom.
But yeah, so just chill out, man. Like, I get it. There's a lot of other people, but it's the Royal Rumble. Not everybody's pick is gonna win.
I mean, since we're already talking about Charlotte, do you just want to go into the segment?
Well, hold on, really quick. We didn't cut the United States Championship match ended in disqualification. Zelina Vega broke up a pinfall where it looked like Carrillo was about to win. Carrillo, enraged from the abuse he's received from this pairing, gave Andrade a taste of his own medicine, ripped up the padding on the outside, gave Andrade hammerlock DDT onto the concrete. Like you said, the backstage rumblings is because he failed a wellness policy, so they're writing him off TV for a month. But I will say one thing: Zelina Vega sold it so well. Like she sold it like a freaking bawling her eyes out, yelling it, screaming at people, come and help him. And I love it when it's like a story role injury, because all of a sudden, all the professional medics and trainers are terrified to touch you. They're just like, you're just laying there like dead and spazzing, and they just have to keep 2 feet from you and just like keep waving their hands over
Like,
you. Yeah,
you okay?
yeah.
Does it hurt here? I don't want to hurt you. I want to get you into your personal space.
Right? They're not putting the brace on him.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was
Oh
pretty
my
funny.
god, it was so
funny.
good. But yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You talking about the Charlotte Flair segment for the?
Yeah, when she comes down, makes her announcement of who she's gonna like. She's supposed to come out and make her Royal Rumble announcement.
I like what the announcers did because they totally botched something earlier in the night. Now this is really small, but it made me chuckle. I think it was the King that said it too. Was right after Drew announced who he was facing, because he came out. He announced he was facing Brock right away, just like that. They showed a graphic for Charlotte, and they were like, maybe Charlotte won't make us wait as long to hear her announcement. And I'm like, bitch, he said it in like 45 seconds. What do you mean make you wait?
Oh,
Like,
I didn't remember it, but now that you mention it, yeah, that sounds like I feel like I heard that.
yeah,
That
so
sounds so dumb.
Yeah, it was very stupid. Maybe Charlotte won't make us wait as long as Drew. I was like, okay, like I don't know. Anyways, it was silly because it
Can
was
we
later
get
on.
King off of TV? God
Dude,
damn.
please. I love you, King. I love you, dude. You're part of my youth. When I was 9 years old, I thought an old man shouting puppies and degrading women was the coolest thing. But now as an adult, it's cringy, bro. And not to mention, it's just, yeah, dude. I could go on. I could go on, man. I could go on. Like I'm just hoping, dude. Twitter, can you do something? Twitter, can you do what you guys do and find something in King's past? All right, so we just have this cancel King culture because I'm at that point right now, right? Can you find some woman that he may have drugged? Can you see if he Bill Cosby someone for real?
Gonna bring up some Tessa Blanchard stuff on.
Oh Jesus, no! I'm sorry. You know what? I might edit that out. That's a little far.
Anyway, speaking of Charlotte, let's just go into that then. What you thought of the whole thing? Like,
I like it.
Did you like that they made her wait? They made us wait.
Yeah, it's the same thing they do with the Money in the Bank. They give one cash in or one payoff right away, and then they tease you with the other one.
So I'm gonna go ahead and before we go into what followed in the segment, immediately when she won the Rumble, I was in a room full of people that hated the idea of Charlotte winning.
Right.
I was not a fan of it, but once I realized, okay, it's either gonna be Shayna, or it's gonna be Charlotte. I had an idea it could be Charlotte. Once she won, I'm like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be Becky, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be Bayley. If she goes with Bayley, I could see a triple threat with Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte. But then my mind thought
They did a triple threat last year, though.
yeah. But my mind went, well, it says a championship. Who's to say she can't challenge the NXT title and challenge Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, so I thought about that too, but I was under. I mean, I guess now that I've had some more time, because that thought did cross my mind, but I was like, it'd make more sense with Baszler, because Baszler's such a dominant champion.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the heel face dynamic, that wouldn't make sense, because Charlotte is trying to heal it up. Mm-hmm. With Ripley being a face, yeah, because it doesn't really make sense to go after Bayley. It just doesn't, and not to mention, I'm still holding out, hoping that Sasha Bayley at Mania. That's
So going into, I feel like there's been more and more reports saying. I mean, Meltzer said, and I don't remember who else brought this up, saying that before this whole Rumble stuff is that they wanted some kind of NXT presence at WrestleMania, maybe like the NXT title being defended or the NXT Women's title, or in this case both. And I also heard that Charlotte might be showing up on Wednesday night on NXT to.
Now, is she a former NXT champion?
Yeah, so she won it before the redesign. It's back when it was the small, little, silver, toy one.
The one that got jizzed on.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Yeah, so that's the one. So she was actually, unfortunately, yes. So she won the title after Paige relinquished the title.
Yeah.
So she won it back then. And here's the thing. I feel like this does two things. It gives a high-profile match to Charlotte. It keeps her away from Bayley and Becky, which we've already seen. and you you highlight not only NXT as an equal third brand, but you highlight Rhea Ripley as a person that I feel like they're very high on, and I
Yeah.
can see like in a couple, like maybe 5 years down the line, she's like one of the big players on Raw or SmackDown. So if not sooner, I could see it like within the next year or two. She could be like a big player on Raw or SmackDown. She just has this presence and aura about her, and I would love to see. I think Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. I don't think Rhea's in any worry or like jeopardy of losing that title to Charlotte. I don't think they move Charlotte
It
to
creates a
NXT.
lot more buzz too, though.
It creates a lot of buzz, and it gets. And here's the thing: I know there's not really technically a war, but what WWE's end goal with NXT is to steal as many viewers as they can from AEW. They don't care what they do. They just want we just want to take all these viewers. Because here's the thing: if NXT wasn't a thing on Wednesday nights, I'm pretty sure AEW would easily be getting over 1 million viewers every week. But because of NXT, they're stealing away some of those viewers. And if you get into a Charlotte and Rhea Ripley feud heading into WrestleMania, you're going to be paying attention to NXT.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, it confirms a lot of the rumors of sending some of the big stars over there.
Exactly. So I kind of liked it. What you thought about, Asuka just randomly coming out and setting up this match? What you thought?
It was cool. It struck me as like, a rehash of the WrestleMania feud, and I thought at first Asuka was going to challenge her for her WrestleMania spot. Like I was like, oh shoot, Asuka's trying to do a fast one here, but no.
Yeah.
It was good. People are going to complain Asuka taking another loss. But
it wasn't a finish
via disqualification.
Yeah, so
how'd she get DQ'd again?
Kairi Sane came in and attacked.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
She was in like the figure 4 going into the figure 8.
And she had the insane elbow. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things where it's like, look, man, like you can't be too upset about that whole situation because at the end of the day, we had an amazing match. I think Charlotte and Asuka had the best match of the show up until that DQ finish.
Yeah, they were having a good match.
Their chemistry is amazing. I think they're like when they're both in the ring, you're going to get a really good match out of it.
Unlike Liv Morgan and Lana.
Do we have to talk about that?
Yeah, we do. Liv Morgan and Lana. Hey, maybe it's the blow off. Hey, maybe it's that. This was a 2 minute. It was a 2 minute match mainly to show off Liv Morgan's outfit and expressions. Apparently, like because that's the most gift thing. I think I saw more Liv Morgan gifs on Twitter than like Edge gifs. I swear to God. But
that reminds me. Let me check out how if they got their views up because remember how the big reason why they were justifying the Bobby Lashley like Lana stuff
the YouTube views
was the YouTube views for whatever reason that matters at all.
Right.
But
yeah, Liv Morgan came out. They had a quick match. I don't even think Lana got a single move off. I think Lana just got squashed. But she hit her with an avalanche flatliner. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, from the second rope. I thought it was pretty cool. I hope the way they were setting this up, there was no Bobby Lashley, no Rusev. So I'm kind of hoping
ringside.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's a blow off. But since Rusev and Lashley might still be doing something, they might still bring Liv Morgan into the fray. I kind of hope this is it and we're done with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you look at Liv Morgan, she's not the best wrestler on the roster, but she's improving slowly and gradually.
You don't have to be though. That's the thing. You don't have to be the best wrestler. No. Yeah, as long as you.
I think her promo skill is pretty good. Like that look
at Ricochet. He's excellent in the ring, and he's still trash. Like seriously, being a good wrestler is overrated.
I feel like it's important, but it depends on the person. Like for instance, you look at Miz, he's at this point you can look at him. He's a
par wrestler. He's a slightly above average, I would say.
I feel like Miz is the kind of guy where if you go to a golf course and you hit par, that's Miz. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, that's who Miz is.
But everything else he adds just elevates the shit out of him.
I could totally see Liv Morgan being obviously there's no mid-card title, but you slowly raise her up her profile. I could totally see her doing something. And right now, the state of the women's division on Raw and SmackDown is very lacking on both sides. Mm-hmm. They were trying to build up the division around Sasha and Bayley on SmackDown. It's not working out. The only one that's standing now is Lacey Evans, and that's about it. They're not really doing nothing with Carmella, Dana Brooke. You look over on Raw, that's the reason why Becky Lynch's title reign has felt so flat, because up until her feud with Sasha Banks, and like she didn't have nothing to like really sink her teeth into. You trying to tell me I'm going to be invested in a feud with Natalia or a feud with Lacey Evans when you just got done with a feud with Ronda freaking Rousey? Like,
yeah, no, exactly. It's just, yeah, not having credible opponents. Almost like the Marvel, the Marvel movies, how they struggle is it's hard to come up with good villains, credible villains a lot of the time. And that's kind of the state of the women's division, which is crazy because there's so many. It's so stacked.
Here's the thing. I feel like it's a combination of like the brand split and injuries, because you look at Ember Moon, obviously she could be a top face there.
I think she's the top. I think she's the top wrestler as far as the women's division.
I'd still give it a Sasha. I'd still give it a like Sasha if
no, I think Ember Moon can outwork Sasha Banks any day. Her athleticism, dude, that chick works fast.
No, she's more athletic.
She's like a Will Ospreay. Man, she does that twist. Like what's that? The Eclipse, that freaking twisting like Stone Cold Stunner. That's like the greatest finisher ever, man.
Let me compare it to this. She's more of a Will Ospreay, I give you that, but I feel like Sasha's more on the lines of like a Kurt Angle or an Eddie, a guy who's not that more athletic, but will tell a better story in the ring. That's what I'm saying, and that's what I constitute as the best wrestler. That's why to this day I still say Eddie Guerrero is the best in-ring wrestler ever. Like Shawn Michaels is up there, but to me, I feel like Eddie Guerrero is still the best. Am I biased? Yeah, of course, but that's just the way I feel. And I feel like Sasha's still up there. And like right now with the thing with it's injuries. Ruby Riott is another face. Nia Jax, Naomi, Ember Moon, all big faces, big names in the women's division that aren't in WWE right now. And it's one of those cases where it's like you need some of those NXT women to start coming up, because NXT in terms of women are loaded. They're completely loaded because you got Shayna, you have Rhea, you have Bianca, who is a star. You can put her on Raw or SmackDown right now, and Bianca Belair will shine. You got Io Shirai as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it's. I saw an image the other day, and it was like, man, they had like 20 women, if not more. And
here's the thing. Even though I know you and RN weren't really too high on her, Shotzi Blackheart is going to be a big deal in like a year or two. She's going to be up there.
Man,
she's gonna be up there. Like you were saying, you don't need to be the best wrestler, because you just said it yourself. You feel like it's underrated, but you look at someone like Shotzi Blackheart. She has a crowd in the palm of her hand. Like the main roster crowd is gonna take a minute, but she has this charisma about her. I feel like you're gonna get people behind her. You know, like I think it's not gonna be too hard to get people to cheer her.
We'll have to wait and see. See.
For sure.
Another division that should be loaded, but honestly probably isn't going to be, is the 24/7 division. Looks like it's just going to be primarily, we got this new story going on. Mojo Rawley has enlisted the help of Riddick Moss. You said this is a developmental guy. NXT fella, or?
He was a guy that was paired up with Tino Sabatelli. Guy got injured.
Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah.
So they were a tag team. They were like this, like jock, like big money tag team.
I know who you're talking about now.
And you know, he got injured, and apparently, from what I heard, is like they praised this guy for his work ethic and his commitment to the sport and just being there nonstop. So I think it was more of a like, dude, you've been hustling out there. It hasn't like gone the way it should, like, because you know you've had some tough luck down here in NXT in terms of like injuries with other guys, but you're really good and we want to put you in this solid situation.
So here's Mojo.
So here's I think it's more of a I feel like
can you imagine being him gassing him up? Oh yes, it's my big break. So we're pairing you up with Mojo Rawley.
Jesus.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'll do my best. It's just like,
and man, part of being a wrestler is being able to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. So
man, I want Mojo to. I'm really cheering Mojo on to.
I hate Mojo. Yeah. I can't stand the guy. I think he should just give up wrestling and go do a YouTube channel or something. It's not for him. He shouldn't do it. He should just stop. Man. Like I can't get invested in him. I'm trying to take him seriously you want me to take him serious as a serious guy when a couple years ago he was the hype man or like the
part
hype
of the
bro.
Hype Bros, man.
Man, bump that. I'm not doing that. And
you were just talking about MVP having that appeal of the sports athlete crossover, And then
Mojo Rawley has that appeal of that high school jock that never grows up. That's what he has. He's like, yo, what's up, bro? No, he's a bro. That's what
he's
he
a
is.
bro.
He's a bro. He's like that white, like
he's
white
slip something in your drink at a frat party, bro.
I'm not with it, man. I'm not with it. I don't feel it. I don't like legit. I don't get it. I don't get Mojo Rawley. They not gonna get me invested in Mojo Rawley. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm more invested in No Way Jose, who was his opponent tonight. And they don't do nothing with No Way Jose. I'd rather see No Way Jose on my TV.
This is still the R-Truth show is what the 24/7 championship is. That's where it's going.
I must say that they hurt the 24/7 title by moving Drake Maverick to SmackDown because he and R-Truth were like what's the best way to put this? They were like the Bird and Magic of like the 24/7 title. They're the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson of that 24/7 title. They both were amazing. If you tell me 24/7 title, first name that comes to mind, R-Truth, second name, Drake Maverick. Like, they should put him back on Raw somehow. I don't know.
Poor Titus O'Neil got the shaft. The inaugural 24/7 champ.
Hey, man, he'll always be the first. You never forget your first.
I don't know, man. Ask a lot of people who the first champ is. I bet a lot of them think it's R-Truth still.
It was an innuendo for some stuff. You didn't catch on, but
whatever, man. I caught what you were saying. Lastly, something that we wish we didn't catch and we could go without seeing at this point. Eric Rowan, squashing some more guys. Brandon Weiss, local enhancement talent, came out, squashed him.
At this one, do you care?
Well, they don't want us to. They don't want us to care. It's filler. That's all it is. It's like it's literally it was used to feed us the Edge return. Is all it was. Because I looked at the clock, we had 15 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, here comes Eric Rowan for his match." I was like, "Well, okay, this is obviously going to be over in 2 seconds." I'm wondering, I'm more intrigued with if they'll actually pay this story off or if he'll just disappear from television at some point. It might be just turned into a comedy thing. It's probably going to turn into a comedy thing. They'll have like some returning legend come over and expose the crate and just take the piss out of the whole thing. They'll, instead of taking it serious, it'll end up being like a stuffed, like some stupid like stuffed animal in a makeup kit or just something completely bonkers. It'll have the payoff equivalent of Raw's anonymous general manager being Hornswoggle. It's the crowd will be like, that's what we waited for. Okay, fine, let's move on, and that'll be it.
I don't think there's going to be a payoff. They're either going to do a thing like you were saying, or they're just going to like completely ignore it one day and just stop doing it and just hope that we forget about it. Or two, he's going to get into a program with someone, they're going to destroy the cage, and we're never going to find out. Yeah. Like, it somehow ends up in, like, those garbage, like, crates things that, like, squish into that's how it's going to end
yells, and then that's it. Could be like Vince McMahon's lockbox or something. Just brought up once. And then
or they're going to go to, like, some town and toss into the Gulf of Mexico or something. Or, like, do something like that where, like, it's never seen from again. They're gonna do something.
They write it off in story that he had to hop on a plane and it didn't get through customs.
Something I don't know.
Something silly.
Something dumb.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But I mean, that was pretty much it. The highlights, of course, is going to be Edge, Drew McIntyre were the huge highlights of the show. Seeing what we're going to do with Charlotte. Everything else was kind of just filler, getting us towards Edge. MVP was there. That was cool. Had a really interesting botch. It was cool, man. It was cool. Well, I think that's a pretty good spot. That was our episode of the SmackDraw podcast. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, share, leave us a suggestion in the comments what we should do to Vince when we get to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Right now, the leading thing is going to be make him watch Cats. I think that's fair. It's fair.
Well, also, too, if you're listening to this episode, make sure you hit a download on the episode. Don't just like listen to it because it helps our numbers out. It helps our exposure. And if you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star rating and give it a review because it does help the algorithm and whatnot, so we can be found on Apple Podcasts too. So do all that stuff, help the show expand and grow, and you'll get more quality content coming forward.
Hell yeah. Next up, look out for NXT and AEW recaps. You got Rob and his crew doing AEW, and then Vince, you're back to doing NXT now, right?
Yeah, it should be fun.
Sweet deal. And then, of course, don't forget SmackDown. Until then, you guys. And then while we're at it, make sure to right above Vince's face, go ahead and select that video. Whatever YouTube's picking out for you. And then right here in the center, right there, go ahead and click that button to subscribe to our channel. And until next time, you guys have a good one.
Later, y'all.